Ooh.
What happened?
We're live, babe. Easy there. Hi, everybody. Don't mind wife messing with things.
So do you want me to turn on the overlay?
Did you already share this?
That's on mine. Notice? No, I didn't share it here.
Okay, well, easy. Hi, everybody. Sorry. All right. We're going to reshare our link here. Because YouTube is apparently gay. To no one's great surprise. Sorry about the lighting and the glare and the lateness. Oh
Should
my.
I just do over the headlight?
Yeah, try it. It's really bad tonight for some reason. Oh, how y'all doing? I have this child trying. Oh my! Whoa!
Oh gosh!
Oh, everything just whited out. Everybody. So as we deal with technical difficulties and stop. No, I don't want your face on live television. Oh. So tonight was rough getting on here. Yeah, okay. The link works. Good to see you, Sky Dog. It's been quite an evening to get to this point, but I'm glad you're here. Glad everybody else can come enjoy it. Kids fought sleep hard, and they're still awake, as you can see. I could not find for the life of me the clip I wanted to show you guys. And my son is escaping the room. So we're probably just going to have to read it, which is really frustrating. I have proof it exists. But we'll be talking about Stargate today. Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever saw Stargate SG1, but great show. Love it. Well crafted. Did a lot of fun stuff. Did a lot of stupid stuff. And supremely anti-Christian for the entire thing. Ever since season 1, they had an extreme anti-Christian bent. Now, I know a lot of people who know the show want to see it for rosy-eyed glasses, like me included. I love how like the military feel, the military actually fighting back. It's not like one of those sci-fi shows where only ooh stuff ever works, though. It happens enough, right? Guns can't actually injure them. There's not just some ooh magical reasons. Oh, guns are completely useless. Where the humans use guns and the guns work. Exactly. Thank you. And it's not just some, oh, hey, bullshit reason guns are now useless, right? My wife is being harassed by Christmas toys. They're barking at her viciously. And, they are appropriately spaced. Like, if you stab a modern soldier with a sword, he's going to die. He's going to bleed. It's going to hurt. The problem is getting the sword in contact with the man with the machine gun, if you know what I mean. The concept that it wouldn't still injure them is stupid, right? And how many sci-fi shows are there where it's like, ooh, a soda? I mean, that's not. It was like, ooh, a soda. No. My wife gives me my sugar and caffeine when she feels me dragging. Where, I guess we'll start with praise of the show because I feel like it. Katie and I might have, Grizzly Mama and I, Bleep, might have watched the show a lot when we were dating. It was a lot of fun, not gonna lie. But right, there's just this nebulous. Ooh, I'm shielded. It's like a toddler. You know how toddlers play those games. Like, I shot you. Well, I have a super shield, so there. It's like every sci-fi show ever because most gammas hate guns and can't handle them. So guns must always be evil. Funny enough, not only is SG1 anti-Christian, it's also very pro deep state, hardcore. It's in some ways it's very anti-deep state, but it's more pro this narrative that you have white hats and dark hats fighting kind of thing. The hilarious Sorry, my little girl is playing with Legos and the cute, like, the big Duplos in the cutest way possible off screen. I'm so distracted by it. Bless you. Bless you. And these themes, oh, thank you, wife, for sharing links, really do start all the way back in season 1 and are amplified, in my opinion, the worst seasons, the last few seasons with the Ori. Horrible miss. Like, I still remember that first episode where they introduced the Ori. Every single time I ever tried to watch it, when the Ori are introduced, I mean, first of all, Daniel Jackson was my least favorite character in the whole show. I really hated him. He was really annoying. The actor could not act, but also had a F you, we got gun. Yeah. And it made that movie actually something to watch, didn't it? Though it was weird, like halfway through, right? There's really bulletproof, and then suddenly they're not bulletproof. And the movie itself wasn't that good, but just the fact that the aliens could be killed by guns made it more interesting than all the other crap where the aliens can't die by guns. Golly. One thing that'll always irritate me, places like the silent place, that movie? The concept that the aliens are completely bulletproof. And more than that, they're not even affected by guns until their armor opens up and then you can shoot them. Armor doesn't work that way. If you encase something fleshy in a metal suit, you know what you still have to worry about? Concussion blast. The impact still causes damage. It was more complicated than a horror movie, but to be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just thought the concept was kind of annoyed me. Don't get me wrong, small enough calibers wouldn't do anything, but big, heavy things or taking shotgun to lots of force would still stagger a quote-unquote bulletproof alien. That one bothers me still in sci-fi tropes where guns have no impact, right? Oh, they're just invincible. No, SG1 had this every now and then too. You remember, I don't know how much of the show you watched, Sky Dog, but Cat, what are you doing, Cat? When Anubis comes into the picture, right? Mr. Anubis. And he starts producing his super soldiers. There's this whole moment where like guns have just kind of bounce off. It's not even a Superman thing. There was like a weird shield thing that for some reason doesn't require any special power source necessarily. There's no effect. Nothing. There's sparks on them and they're not damaged. All I want in those situations, if we're going to say the guns are less effective, right, is staggered opponents, right? The force of the object hitting them should still have an effect, even if, for whatever reason, it's not penetrating. Yeah, this is basic physics, man. God, I hate that. Anyway, aliens appropriately strong in SG1 while also being not invincible to human weapons, which would make a lot more sense. Now, we should probably get into the meat of the matter, right? As I was saying, from the very beginning, from the very first season, you have strong anti-Christian and just right-leaning stuff in general, and very pro
Eastern.
pro Eastern religion. Also,
Enlightenment thing that Daniel Jackson goes through and all the occulted like stuff. There's so many like.
And then a back and forth between
the hippie kids and the
pro like deep state military complex to anti it. That one's a more complicated narrative because you have these really bad dudes that they're always chasing down. But it's funny, most of the time these bad dudes aren't all that bad or aren't doing all that different. Personally, like, I mean, they are sometimes, but it's a complicated thing. Okay. I laugh to myself. Sometimes the silly, how the deep state kind of shows itself in SG1. Yeah, they fight it, but they're also technically part of it, and it bothers me to know it. You meowing at? Yeah. But I want to stick to the anti-Christian themes because they're really overt, but also subtle. Like sometimes it's like right in your face that I'm shocked other people didn't notice it. Like I have some friends who big fans of the show, and I brought up the anti-Christian stuff, and they're just kind of like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just, I love you, man, but how did you not see it? There's literally a scene where like the ultimate villain character who basically represents everything right wing ever, all Christians ever, every fiscally conservative person out there, and you know how I feel about conservatives, but someone who says the budgets need to the match and the military budget needs to be reined in. It's like a combination between, like Senator Kinsey is like a combination between what's the guy who's libertarian always talking about budgets. I can't even think of politicians right now. But basically, stereotypical white male who wants the money to make sense. Christian, that part's important too, and which of course means he's cowardly, he's completely amoral, he's very hypocritical, and everyone hates him, and he's clearly just a moron. Right? Some people would say, why does that make it a complete anti-Christian? Because the way everything is written around SG1, especially whenever this character is introduced, is he is the character we're all supposed to hate. It's obviously written this way, that Kenzie's the guy you're supposed to hate. They make him very easily hateable because he's like a boomer dude who's really annoying, who looks down on everybody, and is always in a position of power somehow. and of course, does really cowardly things when the shit hits the fan and doesn't back up all his brave words, right? Easy character to hate. We all hated an old annoying white dude, right? And this scene is the crux. It happens in season 1. Politics. It's the first time Senator McKinsey comes onto the stage, and he has a conversation where he's with them, and they're saying, if you shut down our program, the world will be destroyed. And he's pointing out that they haven't acquired a single piece of technology that would actually save them, which is, in retrospect, that's actually a pretty darn good point. Why, at this point, if they weren't wee all the time and they actually kind of did what their mission was, they might have actually procured some technology. Also, if all these annoying other Eastern religion-based alien races who are more powerful than the Gould or can fight the Gould or whatever would stop being so Eastern religion-y, maybe a few races here and there might live. God. Drives me nuts. The amount of hippie Eastern religion-based super... Oh my God, you're having like a third dinner. Crazy. That's good. She needs to gain weight.
Gain some pounds.
I just told you it's good. You need to gain weight. I don't know what a tortilla has to do.
For her, so she doesn't eat my food.
She has sushi, and I'm like seeing this tortilla come out, and she'll find it. Right. And the scene comes in, they point out, and he says, "Yeah, you haven't found any technology. I don't think we'll actually get destroyed, and we'll actually get back. You will be destroyed." The black dude who's the alien Eastern religion, the source of religious thought and morality, right?
Who's always meditating, always higher-minded, blah blah blah. The quintessential warrior monk, essentially. And he's all flustered and he says, "I don't believe that the world will be destroyed because God will protect us." Christian God, right? And then Teal'c stops and goes, "Whatever deity you speak of will not protect you from these things." And we know in the lore, right? God obviously doesn't protect them. Or does he, since the Earth's never destroyed, technically? But we know what the writers are meaning there, right? That Christians are stupid. Their God can't protect them. And unless they take their everything into their own hands and give lots of money to them, the military complex, they will, they're completely useless and helpless, right? That's pretty much what it was. The other thing that Mackenzie was all about was not caring so much about the universe and caring more. Basically, America first, right? They were attacking that before it was even fun to attack that, right?
No.
And his logic was, why are we spending so much money to try to save the universe and not just, do something for the earth, keep us safe? A fair point. And, that's not the first anti-Christian stuff that you run into. That's the most overt in your face. The ones take the form in random episodes that I'm sure most people skip because they weren't very good. They weren't very good at all. But I really wish I had had more time to. Like, work went so late today. I'm sorry about that, guys. But one of these days I need to make like an actual recording video showing it all. But then again, it'll get copyright strike, so I don't know what the right move is on that front. It's so annoying. You can't show their crap because they'll copyright strike you, even if you only have a few views. Maybe I'll try it anyway, because it is a really telling thing. Like, that one was so overt and in your face, you have to just be blind and in the story moment to not notice it. And I think a lot of people are. A lot of people concentrate on the fact that they are clearly fighting an overt, like the truth in it that catches our attention is A, guns and fighting back are actually quite effective against our enemy. This is a truth. Even our spiritual enemy, fighting back works pretty damn well. Don't just roll over and let him do whatever he wants. They don't add the important truth of Christ, Jesus Christ's name, and God being back with us in our fight. In fact, they mock the concept, as we see in that episode of I think it's the last episode of the first season, right? But they'll add that truth that fighting back is actually fairly effective. Skydog, actually, I really enjoyed that scene you put in when your character in the put the name of your comic in the comments so I can remember it's Skydog. But your character who's going to fight demons and whatnot, it runs into his first demon. The Sword of God, yeah, runs into his first demon, and he points a gun at it, and it goes, yeah, the Sword of God, guns are no effect on me, and the guy goes, well, let's test that theory. He shoots it, like kneecaps it, and it starts to heal really fast, but it obviously takes lots of damage, and he uses a combination of the gun and the holy sword to kill it. I'm like, why would tell us the truth? Someone how to checkmate you. It's stupid. Of course you want to think it's useless and pointless. The funny thing is, if I get into stuff that should be more on the Grizzly Files, which again, work is murder right now. I'm already going to be working 6 days. Probably going to be working 6 days the week after that. But, which, by the way, we still have a Grizzly Files episode that should be coming up this week. I'm shooting for Wednesday. I apologize for that. It's just I couldn't get a recording in when I needed to, and I need to also make the video. But it's going to be about Superstition Mountains in Arizona. Crazy. Superstition Mountain. Superstitions. Or its older name in Native American stuff translates to Thunder Mountain, which reminds me of this certain Disney ride called Thunder Mountain. Oddly enough. Oh, yeah. And the spiritual crap that goes down on Superstition Mountains is nuts. Also, Superstition Mountains was a heavy minor spot, connecting again the ride to that and the weird spirituality in Disneyland. I like Thunder Mountain too. Well, I mean, That was fun as a kid. Anyway, that's gonna be a fun connection to bring up. Old Watchers and Giants and Nut stuff. You should definitely tune in Wednesday if work allows me to breathe for 5 minutes to get that episode up for you guys.
That is funny as you've had me do some research because you've been so busy.
Yeah. Well, you kind of volunteered yourself and surprised me.
In a way, I did, yes, but it's just kind of funny how you're like, okay, I need to know some of this stuff here. Okay.
You know, I wasn't actually telling you to do it. You just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just thinking in my head I needed to do it.
Kind of like when you think out loud.
Yeah, and then you. That's funny. That's cute. I love you. Now she got caught up in the bug of research too.
The basic standard town research.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But the other cryptid stuff.
The point is, that's something for the Grizzly Files for sure. But I find in a lot of these creepy stuff, the things are resistant to bullets, but not actually bulletproof. And much. After all, it's considerably, I would imagine it would be considerably harder to kill a werewolf with a pike than it would be with a gun at long distance, or at least damage it. Right? What are you doing, little lady?
Give her half of this,
And now we give sacrifice to little child. Eat. Consume. You dropped it on the floor. Yeah. Don't you eat me. Put it in your mouth. I'm eating the rest of it. Nah. Oh. No.
Put the whole thing in her mouth.
Holy crap, girl. That's huge for your mouth. Now it's trying to come back out. Disturbing. Anyway, on that note, we have this interesting other themes in Stargate, right? This theme, for example, that giving the humans too much technology too early will lead to their destruction. That's another season 1 thing too. They run into this advanced race.
How did that happen?
Jeez, she destroyed that sushi. They run into an advanced race that lost their home world because they gave technology to a neighboring race nearby in their solar system. At one, they developed nukes, destroyed themselves, and destroyed their home planet as well. Right? Again, this concept that humans too much technology. Can't give them too much technology. You got to limit their technology. Some of this was because, well, if these advanced races had given the SG crew all the technology they needed to fight the Goa'uld right off the bat, well, I guess there wouldn't have been much of a story because they would have just killed them. I mean, one thing we can give credit for the SG thing, whenever they have a chance and they actually have the technology, they go for the jugular real fast, man. Pop. Though some of them survive longer than you would think. But, Nubis gets popped off like 3 or 4 times. It's great. Is it Anubis? No, it was Apophis. That was the first. Apophis was the guy who got killed like 3 or 4 times.
That almost makes me think of Obama.
Yeah, Space Obama.
Apophis Obama.
Apophis Obama. I knew they were getting us ready for something.
It's like a second cousin or something, I swear.
And I think a certain amount of Christians like us kind of I latched onto it too because it was like this feeling of like attacking old gods, right? Attacking to those less into the know, right? It was all about just symbolically killing those old religions, right? Those evil old gods, and less symbolically literal demons being aliens. I've mentioned theories about that. Again, that's more Grizzly Files to talk about, but there's so much going on around. There's plenty of theories that many, if not most, aliens are actually demonic encounters. And considering it makes a little sense for aliens to be doing what they're doing in most alien encounters, it makes more sense that they're demonically orientated with the things they're doing. Well, why travel 10 bazillion miles away to mentally screw around with rabbits, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, if the conquistadors, for example, did not travel their asses all the way across the ocean to kidnap random Indians, poke them a little bit, and then release them. They did want to have sex with many of them. This is true. And this is actually how, not scurvy, it'll come to me. It's the one that, syphilis, thank you. Syphilis, the one that melts your brain, literally, and drives you insane. The one that, what's his face had, the philosopher that Vox likes to mock because he deserves it, the Gamma dude. The one that Gamma's all like, and oh, hi. Yes.
Scott Adams?
No, no, he was older than an older philosopher.
That was too good to say.
Oh no. Can't think of this guy. He's one of the Enlightenment dudes, I'm pretty sure. I think he's the guy who wrote the things like, the story about the little poem about God being dead and we killed him, something like that.
And narrow.
Not Descartes. Oh yeah, he does harp on a lot of philosophers and a lot of Enlightenment ones at that. Shoot. This one's like one of the gammas, and he had syphilis. Anyway, the point is syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease, which we know what that means. He did. Particularly sexually transmitted. Also, funny enough, is part of the reason. What are you doing? Don't. You're not throwing that on the floor. It's food. Don't. Excuse me? This little girl, she just thinks she rules the world. She's not even 3 yet. She rules the world.
Even 2.
She's not even 2?
She's only 19
Stop
months
growing
old.
so fast. I can't handle you. No, stay over here. Stay. I can't. You're too young. You're too cute. I can't have you on YouTube. Can't do it. You would blow everything up. Yourself. I'm not going to. No, stop. This is why we usually do this when you're in bed. You hear this sass from this little thing? I don't know what you said, but it sounded funny. All I know is I'm getting sass from this little baby child. What am I going to do when she's a freaking teenager? Sit on her head, I guess. It's probably the only... Yeah, I think I will do that. I'll probably be pretty heavy still.
She might end up biting your butt.
That could probably happen. I'll make sure her face is turned on. Dad! I'm reminding you that might... Straight my dominance, I'll make the dog sit on her. Anyway, my parenting style is a bit chaotic, I admit it. But, we do with what we got.
Softy.
Well, one of us has to not be a tyrant. What's over there? What's on that wall over there, wife? You're looking at?
Paint. Or white.
Oh man. Whew, I'm all over the place. Do you remember what happened before my daughter distracted me?
I was making fun of Obama.
No, that's what you remembered. We were way past that part of the
We were talking about
conversation.
syphilis.
Yes, they're the Victorian era, right? Very well towards sex, though, right? Very serious towards it, right? Remember how they were very intense about sex, not no sex and marriage, very kind of uptight, a lot of Puritan stuff. That is a direct connection from syphilis, because so many promiscuous. Feel it. Hey, Connor's here. Yep, still folding laundry late at night. Hey, we're here for you, man. And Arcanes is here. Oh, he said that narrows it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole crew's here. I'm suddenly happy. Well, I was happy before, but I'm more happy now. There was no sex during the Victorian. Here's a picture of Queen Victoria. Now you know why. No, this is actually the real reason, right? Well, one of the reasons. There were lots of reasons. Syphilis, being a sexually transmitted disease, this is for females, right, came from the Americas, and it was so intense and had no recourse, right, and just ripped through all of promiscuous, all the promiscuous people, particularly the plays. So you know how plays to us are like high art and only really pop. Hey, what are you doing? She does this thing. She holds her body hostage against me. If I don't give her what she wants, she bangs her head against something. Right now, she wants to steal food. But plays back then weren't considered high art, right? They were actually considered.
Stop. You already got yourself. Look at that.
I know she did it really hard.
Really?
She
Give herself a bump.
they were considered more of what like you would do to be to be promiscuous back then. You would go to the plays. It was like a party or a rave around the play. People would hook up at the play. It was like a hookup bar. It was like a hookup bar. Like you would go to the play, you'd hook up with some random dude or chick or whatever, and you go off and be promiscuous. That's why you had in Shakespeare's play, you had all these fart jokes. And he made it high art, but he also had all this basic crap because that was nice. It was like club atmosphere basically, and that's also why syphilis burned through the play scene like nobody's business. Like there's all these paintings symbolizing this, like death being around, having sex outside of marriage, because like if you were not promiscuous, you wouldn't get syphilis. That's just how it was, because you had to have had sex with someone with syphilis, which had to come from the Americas, brought over, right? Oh, Fila says, I recall some of Shakespeare's asides during the popular plays were directed at those with loose morals. Exactly. And it was like the whole audience. Anyway, so syphilis was so poignant. If you had sex with anyone who had it, way worse than, like, whether AIDS is real or not, way worse than that. So, an entire because they slept with each other and killed each other off. So you had, for a survival of the fittest, only the most puritanical, only the most chaste people survived to have children. Everybody else died because of syphilis. More people died because of the syphilis plague than like all the Native Americans who died to like smallpox. Think about that. That there was more plague brought up back from the Americas that killed more people than the plagues that were brought to the Americas. You don't hear about that crap, you know. This is why you had that whole Puritans and all that movements come up, is because you had a generation of people who went, holy crap, if you have sex outside of marriage, there's a potential that your brain can literally melt and you could go insane. No wonder they were so intense, and rightly so, I might add. I might also add that this is when Britain came into the height of its power, when they were completely chastied and what we would mock, and yet they conquered like 3/4 of the world. It's almost like if you don't mess around and put all your energies towards screwing random hookers and whores, you have a lot of energy to do a lot of cool stuff. Pity they used it for a lot of stupid stuff too. Conquering India and all that, or conquering India. What a pain in the ass that was for them.
Literal or figurative?
Literally and figuratively. You think of a more difficult undertaking that they definitely shouldn't have done. Trying to civilize the Indians. It's illegal to burn widows alive after their parents died. some sheiks or whatever they were called, like spiritual leaders and stuff, all came to like the certain British governor or something and say, hey, you're messing with our traditions. And his response, well, where I come from, we have a tradition where we hang people by the neck who burn widows alive. So we're going to respect my traditions as well. Base. He said it in a much more British fashion than I can pull off. That posh method that you that just screams, I'm better than you and I'm more sophisticated, and by the way, you're dead. But I should probably actually get back. Now, other obvious themes. You'll see this in all the sci-fi shows from this era. Lots of feminism. Oh, like the third episode. I kid you not. It's funny going back and like rewatching everything. I realized when I rewatched this and I enjoyed it the most, I skipped half of season 1. Just like half of it. The best episodes in season 1 were the 2 starter episodes, which, by the way, make sure you're careful which version of those you watch, because there is a full frontal in one. If you're not careful, I know. I remember, like the TV version, they cut that out.
Yeah.
Well, innocent college boy me did not know that. Full frontal. That poor girl, man. It was horrible. Like, I actually listened to an interview from her and how they basically manipulated her and tricked her into doing it. Like, at first, they weren't supposed to show anything. Then it was just the top. And then...
It's the same reason why I don't tell girls to go into modeling.
No, you tell girls not to go into
That's
modeling.
why I told you not to. I said not to.
Not to. You said don't go in the modeling. That's what you... I don't know how we confused that so thoroughly.
You confused it, not me.
You didn't pay attention to what you were saying. We're going to rewatch this and figure out who was wrong. Oh, God. Maybe I don't want that. Like, even if I'm right, I'm wrong. That would also be fun to rub it in your face. But what if in some small way I was wrong? Oh, I don't know. This is why you shouldn't film yourself as a couple all the time. Sky Dog's like nodding sagely right now. Some of this up for grabs?
Yeah, you have the button.
Ooh. I'll let you have the button.
No, you have that one.
I don't want that one.
I don't want it. I don't eat tail.
What's going on right now? Eat that. You're here for the
How's the crab?
high quality content. That's what you're here for. Yeah. White guy chewing.
Shut up.
Oh, man. But, yeah. Isn't that funny from the feminist perspective too, right? At that era, apparently, like, Sci Fi Channel was trying to throw boobs on the screen to get attention and get people to watch it.
Cracks me up was that image she showed me right before the stream. The lady Carter.
The feminist icon.
And then she is what?
And some kind of naked wrapped in an American flag. Yeah, that was a surprise too, because I was just looking for the Stargate
and
stuff.
It was clearly photoshopped.
It just popped up.
It was clearly photoshopped too.
Make your boobs bigger. Oh my god. Awkward.
Cleveland guy.
Awkward. All that work. I'm not a sex symbol. Feminist bitches, man. Second they get old. Wait, I want your attention still. But I'll get back to the very third episode. Ignoring the full frontal. Awkward. They literally have an episode where Connor, the
Connor.
is that her name? Whatever. Her chick.
Samantha Carter.
Carter, that's the one. Is
Carter, I don't even know her.
is telling Mongols, essentially Space Genghis Khan, that he has to respect women more. And they listen. Being kidnapped and forced to marry him or something. It's amazing that they had a season after that, to be honest. I realize now that as a kid, I skipped that episode every single time. Some part of me, even before I hated feminism, instinctively knew I was going to hate that episode. And it wasn't until I was an adult and I forced myself to watch everything that I went, oh! And I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys that I know who don't realize all the propaganda in it did the same thing I did and skipped all the crappy episodes. Because you don't need them. They don't add anything. They're literally like episodes like 3 for God knows what to like the conclusion of season 1.
Yeah, feminists always have to do the stupid line about the,
Are like complete filler.
Yeah.
And what were you saying? Stupid line.
Remember when they're being introduced to the team and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
he tells the guy like.
Right, that's the first episode.
That's
actually.
like the very first episode where
Right,
they did a comparison about the genitals.
She like literally has to do the
my genitals are on the inside.
It's so cringe and bad.
Like, why won't you let me come on this really dangerous mission? Is it just because my genitals are on the inside?
And the comeback, though, it is pretty funny, is dumb. It should be just, yes. That should be it. Like, yes. I don't want you there because you're distracting and annoying. Mostly annoying. But the answer was okay. It was like, oh, I like women. I just don't like scientists. I don't like scientists either. I'm okay with that. But let's be honest. Scientist and woman, watch out.
In that case, then why is Daniel Jackson on?
The man with bigger ovaries than every female on the cast.
But why don't we just speak to them?
Literally, that's why he's being enlightened.
God, that guy could not act to save his life. Man. And boy, they could just... The amount of times they killed off that character and brought him back. Man, the first time I remember, my wife can vouch, I was very happy when he died. And then he came back, and I,
Like,
fool me
will you
once.
Just stop.
Just go away. I know your acting career can't handle anything else.
The guy who took over for a little while, Jonas Quinn, the guy who plays him.
Yeah, I enjoyed that actor much
He was
better.
a way better actor than.
He was a very interesting. And his backstory was more interesting, in my opinion, with his whole thing with his two warring factions from his home planet. Kind of. That was like a very obvious, annoying, like nuclear war, whatever bullshit.
That guy went away.
There was
like,
some
no,
definitely some anti-Christian stuff.
Back.
And he's back. Hey, that whole episode had anti-Christian stuff in it too.
A lot of it.
Because there was a religious sect that couldn't handle the fact that the ring was actually a teleportation device, and the gods come through it. I'm like, demonic gods. Technically, they were right, but whatever. But it leads to all-out war. Are you stealing binkies, little lady? For her or for me?
Yeah.
Oh, look at. Yes, more excellent content. White guy chewing. Ah! Oh, what? Oh. Also excellent content. Angry toddler trying to fight her way on screen. She's like, I need my stars. I need my stardom, Dad. Yeah, she is. She's coming right here. Yeah. You're back. Rosie, you want to get up here? Oh, excuse me. I probably shouldn't have done that on screen. Sorry.
What? Oh.
I forget. But yeah.
So comfortable in your old home.
Yeah. I know, I'm finally not in front of people. Work is so stressful for me. Anyway. Don't you get on here? Don't you do it? Don't you do what you do with the little hand? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Hide your face. You're being cute. So,
She did it.
I need to revisit this subject again when I have some clips for you guys to watch, and I'm not like barely grasping on like a last hour of my life at the end of the day after children are in bed and work and writing is done. Oh,
Puppy dog.
hey, Papa Joe. Anyway, but the point is, a huge point of SG1 was like an attack on all religion except for the nebulous Eastern religion turned evolution crap. And it was like hardcore, right? No, you can't have my soda. Don't be weird. I think about, right, half of the stuff was about evolving to a higher plane of existence. That's just what the Ori were, right? They did evolved into a higher plane of existence. And we're just demons, right? And though I enjoy in retrospect the obvious references to demons posing as gods and being aliens and all this other stuff, right? I can't help but notice that the answer is not, say, Christian crusade against evil, which if I ever, when this stuff finally goes into what's the thing when people can write stories about it and not have to own it, public domain. Public domain. Oh yeah, Stargate Crusade, baby. Ooh, it even kind of flows a little bit. Don't, child.
You don't want a drink that much sweet.
Did you just kiss me? You still don't get what you want. You have no idea how cute she's being off screen right now. She's like got both hands behind her back at you. Yes. I'll definitely be taking advantage when Stargate goes into public domain, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. Because if you think about it, Crusade is the obvious answer, man. Gotta kill off those demonic aliens, bitches. But instead, it's diplomatic crap, and then we have to kill everyone anyway. You kissing me again? You're so distracting. Yeah. Stop it! You're so distracting. Baboos. But, like, am I saying, do I want a taste of Warhammer in my Stargate? Yes. Very much so. More hopeful, though. That's what's actually good about Warhammer. Most people forget it's not the grim dark that makes it popular. It is for like the freaky people, right? The gamma types that they jerk off at the thought of like, oh, my stuff is more edgy than your stuff. There are no heroes. Religion is bad. Yeah, we'll have to get into that. Actually, I might get into that next one, because basically the Warhammer, you had to give her a toy that she instantly put in her food. Warhammer universe is essentially like atheist gamma wish fulfillment. Basically it says religion ruins everything, and that's why it's grimdark. That's why it's so important that everything is always bad all the time, is because they're religious, so everything has to be bad. That's the whole point. That's why it's grimdark. That's why it's such a big deal to them that it stays grimdark. When in reality, the majority of people who are liking it now aren't liking it because it's grimdark. What are they? Are they when you see a clip of it online? Are they showing like babies being incinerated or being turned into robots? Yes, they do that. Or like torture. No, what are they? They show crusading badasses killing demons. That's what makes it popular. They want religious doom guy. And it's a really popular thing when you give them religious doom guy. Can I help you? And brotherhood, they like that too. Brotherhood in their combat against evil. That's what makes it popular. That's what people like. I'm not saying it should be happy roses or anything like that, but I'm saying the grimdark stuff isn't what makes it popular. It's what makes it popular against like weirdos in the corner getting their Slanesh demons painted. If you don't know what that means, it's a sex demon. Yeah, don't ask. The fact that I have to
Just like
share some things I enjoy with such weirdos like that. Like I don't have to, I guess, but you know what I mean. Until they're finally dealt with, they're there, and I have to. Like they ruin things like Warhammer. They were the types who saw the Samantha Carter character and went,
Oh, I want a strong girl boss too.
yeah.
Had they put it in Stargate Atlantis too?
Yes.
Stargate Saturday.
Just had to have one girl boss. Because it's time. Oh.
Beginning of HR.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, there's so much to get into when I open this can of worms. I might, in the future, if I have time, when these in-between things, between semesters, like talk about particular episodes and stuff. Like the whole concept of reaching enlightenment is so big in this. Like, right, all this evolution stuff, but you know, taking evolution to its logical conclusion means no morality. But you can't have a show like the whole show is based on morality. Like Teal'c, the essential space warrior monk, who's an awesome character, by the way, but he is just a space warrior monk, right? He's constantly talking about how the gold, the evil baddies, are evil. And he's like, oh, they're evil. What makes them evil? Who says they're evil? Who made the rules, Teal'c? If everyone just grew from stuff, then there are no rules. There's nothing that set the rules. There's no higher morality. You're right. Moral relativism, right? But so to get around that, like most sci-fi shows at the time, they use a nebulous evolution, high-minded crossing over with Buddhism, right? And it's also strangely eugenic, which is what I mean by that is it has more in common with Hitler's mentality of like evolving your race than it does anything else when you stop to think about it, because what's the supreme good seems to be evolving your race to a high point. Like there's a point where like remember I said they're always like, oh, you can't give the human technology too soon, blah, blah, blah. Because if you give it them too soon, they might destroy themselves or cause lots of problems, blah, blah, blah. And you have to evolve to a certain point till you're ready for the technology. And there's always hinting that the humans on Earth could become the next race to join all the technologically advanced super alien nations.
The Asgard are like the ones that finally...
That help. Yes.
Yeah.
That help them. Yes. I find that funny too, because and it seems to be what's quote unquote good is that weird Buddhist religion's intent for ascending, which is essentially just becoming a demon, by the way. Especially if we apply what we learned in previous. Remember the whole part about demons aren't fallen angels. Demons are the lingering spirits of giants and other monsters. At least that's according to the Bible and surrounding books like the Enoch. And I imagine probably humans who linger as well. If you actually read the Bible for what it says, it's pretty clear that death is a messier situation than we want to look at. There's a whole referencing in Revelations and Isaiah, if I remember correctly, where it talks about I think mostly Revelations, where the oceans give up the spirits, hinting that if you die at sea, you stay there until judgment. Now, obviously, Jesus Christ and the blood can overcome anything like that. And the Catholics may actually have this part right, and you guys know how I feel about them sometimes, that you should be praying for dead loved ones. I think the Bible strongly hints that not everybody instantly goes to heaven. So it's something to work out. I don't know if there's necessarily something like purgatory per se, dimension, whatever, maybe spirit realm, like most cultures. Scenario. I don't know if it's like a literal purgatory. The Bible seems to hint that it's not so much purgatory, but just lingering in this realm in a spiritual state. You give it, it's hui, but we all kind of understand what we're saying there. A spirit hanging around and all the rest. Where did my brain go to, and why did I go down this route?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
I know I had a reason for going down here.
You were talking about the enlightenment in the.
Oh, right.
And then you brought that up.
Oh, yes.
Something
Okay.
else.
Right. If we go off of that logic, what the Bible and books of Enoch and other ones dictate, then ascending is actually just becoming a demon. That's all it is. Becoming a spirit form that can manipulate the physical world.
So somebody.
Not going to heaven, right? Not being judged by your creator, not awaiting judgment, purposely becoming the energy. You're becoming a demon, essentially. And that's supposed to be this great good. And the ancients are set up all this stuff throughout the universe to help people ascend. Think about, again, if we go into all the cultic stuff we see around them, when all this hinting of trying to upload your brain into a computer and all this other stuff, right? The elites of our day want to become something like that so they don't have to face judgment. They want to find a way to stay here even after they die. They want that immortality. You connect that all together with the themes, and you have an almost satanic image. And that really kind of irks me, because I really love the show. But I have to face the shows that I really love that in the end have too many negative things. Is it redeemable? Yes. If we were able to get a hold of that property and rewrite some
Like
stuff.
all the scenes that had the child sacrifices, or they're about to sacrifice the gun, and you actually do the complete.
What?
You don't remember those?
Which human sacrifice episode?
Well, okay, not the human sacrifice per se, but like, remember Silk's son gets,
Oh,
whatever.
that shit.
And then the other guy, the other young guy
Mhm.
that gets with the dreadlocks, he turns into some kind of, it's the esophagus. Not esophagus.
Yes, they get stabbed. They put them in the esophagus and bring them back to life. I got
That's
you.
the esophagus. That thing.
It was esophagus.
Oh, I thought esophagus was your throat.
No, I'm confused. The big Egyptian techie death thing.
They're coffins.
They're big old coffins that for some reason in this thing heal you rather than kill you. But also twist your nature. Great.
Are you gonna fall asleep, Neil?
She have a diaper? Check. She has a diaper.
changed her.
She has
She
a
has
diaper.
another one?
She has a diaper.
Last diaper I just changed up.
We might as well change it now before she falls asleep and wakes up. Poor lady. I'm not saying I stream to get out of changing diapers, but when I do,
Quit
the
That's
war
a
of the
little
females. Anyway,
No, you learned that from your brother. I'm not happy with that.
I particularly, when we look at sci-fi shows, you keep an eye out for all the nebulous morality stuff, because they take God out of the equation. But a story without God either has to go the full Warhammer route of being grimdark, or has to come up with some fake morality to explain who's good and who's evil and why things that are happening matter, right? Because without God, you don't have the authority that made the rules that established what morality is. So who declares what is morally right? Well, that would be whatever sentient beings are in dominance. And generally, this always is usually some weird connection to cosmic alien forces.
Also snake, quote unquote.
Yeah.
The whole imagery of the snake in the head and everything. Possession.
Yep. Of course, they are the bad guys.
Well, obviously, but still, possession is still possession.
And that's a pretty universal one with virtually all of virtually all of the 80s, 90s sci-fi. They're virtually all that. And it's just a shame because there's some fun stuff to have in it back when Hollywood could still make a good space battle, even with bad graphics and all the rest. Like, even for the day, Stargate's space battles were pretty rough to look at, but they were still exciting and fun, man. Like, just putting them next to the those horrible Star Wars that's the sequel. I'll take a Stargate cheese ship shooting another fuzzy ship over that any day.
Raccoons with them.
Raccoons with them. Best line ever. There's a little line where a man named Coons is brought somewhere, and they told him, "Hey, yeah." And you have the guy playing O'Neill just looks like he brought Coons with him. Taken out of context.
It's basically these two people who are on a team on the.
No, it's two gammas.
Two
who
gammas.
want to be more
a
than
science
gammas.
team. Yeah, but they're a science team.
And
The
they
game
follow
was
them.
science team,
Yes.
And they followed them, or like we're your number one fan kind of mentality.
Yes.
And he's just trying to lose them.
Yes, that was funny. It's just the Coons line was so out of nowhere. It was hilarious. Because he's trying to rescue them, but they didn't need to be rescued. Or, of course, what's Vila say? After seeing Stone Toss's boobs, butts, feet comic, all I can say now is BS, DS9, and then Lex drooling on the floor. Yes. Man. It is funny all the sci-fi shows that do result to at least a couple episodes of boobs and butts trying to get people's attention.
You know the ratings were down.
Yeah.
Just like in the crime.
Yeah, I know.
Scene,
Burn Notice too.
Yeah, in Burn Notice, you know.
What is this Lex with two X's? I don't remember this. Was this is a sci-fi show I haven't seen? That could be fun or bad.
It's on the archive.
No, babe.
No.
The DS9 is another show. Lex, I'm assuming, is another sci-fi show.
Yeah, but Stone Toss is the
Lex the Bioship? That sounds kinky. It's a good thing they didn't do Triple X. You know they wanted to. Oh yeah, Farscape was another one that was just a little too weird for me, and I never got into. Like the first episode was so weird, I always just went, I think I'm gonna go back to Stargate. Oh, and then the Andromeda one was so hokey, dude. I couldn't take that one at all. Felix says it's one of those rare and wonderful British science fiction series. Oh, he might have lost me. I was never a Doctor Who fan. Like watching a slow-moving train wreck, and you can't yank your eyes away from it. Oh, God. Ooh. Doctor Who was another one that I never enjoyed. Always. No. At least every Doctor Who episode I ever watched seemed to be like, oh, here's this horrible thing that's actually not a threat to the main character at all. So why am I here? What's the story here? I don't. It's like Doctor Who invented the overpowered anime character before that was even a thing.
The fact that they had to go through so many people to play Doctor Who.
Also, I find his little wand thing to be boring as hell and not intimidating. Though the Daleks are hilarious, I do enjoy the exterminate line over and over. I enjoy that part for some reason. No, now that you say it, I hate it. It sounded better in my head, and now I hear it out loud. I'm like, actually, that's really annoying. Some Monty Python jokes are like that too.
I guess who's sleeping now?
Yes. Oh, that was such a war to get her to fall asleep, though. My God.
Just remember
Oh.
how cute she is, or where she gets it from.
She is really darn cute.
Oh, she does good. Okay.
I always wanted to make my own Stargate show, write it. But of course, they'd never let me because it would be Crusade in space, essentially.
There'd be witch burning in an
There'd
incident.
be lots of witch burning. That's the other part. Like, anytime the Christian religion, because there's all these themes about various different mythos and religions being put into a sci-fi setting in Stargate. Whenever they did the Christian setting, it was always extremely anti-Christian. They were always bigoted. They were always stupid. They were always trying to kill someone they shouldn't kill because of vague religious reasons. In one case, they're literally sacrificing their young people, young ladies, to what they think is a demon and to what they think is the devil, which I would remind you would be very anti-Christian. What does Felix say here? Now a 25-year-old Japanese animation joke returns. Fushing Yugi 2 is just like Blake 7. Everyone dies and they all deserve it. I don't know what either of those things are, but everyone dies and they deserve it. How nice. That sounds very Japanese, actually. Very Japanese horror. Everyone's an asshole, so we killed them all. In fact, the monster was right all along. That sounds very Japanese horror to me. I don't even watch horror movies. It's just vague feelings I get from some of them. Yet another obscure... You and your obscure British sci-fi shows, man. Then again, sometimes those are pretty good.
Sometimes British humor gets a little too much.
Wife can only take so much British humor.
Every time I think about British stuff, I always think of
Johnny English?
no.
Bad joke. We watched that recently.
What's that?
Such a weird movie.
IT Crowd? No.
IT Crowd. I like IT Crowd. IT Crowd's funny.
Yeah,
What's your bomb robot running on? Vista. We're all going to die. The same joke about Windows 11 now. It's gonna steal my bank information and make all my RAM die and not let me get anything done. Oh
Sometimes
man,
British humor gets a little too.
British. A little too much Star Wars bad guys sitting in the corner drinking tea.
No.
Oh, the rebels are here. God, why does that comedian have to be a sick weirdo tranny? Also, he gets his history very wrong in a funny way. This is very wrong.
Is it training or like
What the comedian that does the whole flag joke? Remember, he's a tranny. Well, okay, he's a cross-dresser. I don't know if he cut off his balls. We watched that together when we were dating, young, and I still didn't like it, but I was entertained by all the history jokes. Do you have a flag, wife? Guy, that is actually legitimately funny. It's so annoying.
Is this the guy who plays the boss?
Stop right now.
That guy was
In IT Crowd, the two
Yeah.
bosses. No, wife. The story was with him. He finds out that one of his girlfriend's a tranny, and he can't handle it, and he gets rid of
I
her.
remember that one. Yes, I remember that.
And she beats the crap out of him, and he beats the crap out of it because he realizes it's a dude. And yeah, that was actually funny.
I can't decide if it's transphobic or not, but it was funny. Just there's a whole part where the character tries to say, "Hey, I'm a man," and he goes, "I thought you said you were from Iran." That's so debased, and yet, God, that's why you got to protect your kids, man. What do you? It gets in your brain and it stays there, and it is funny. You can't deny it's funny, but bad.
I already have a problem that laughing at inappropriate times, okay?
I still can't decide, like, if like on one hand, I'm assuming that they're, not against those things because they're British and they're vaguely, but on the other hand, I couldn't decide if the story was actually promoting it because he obviously can't handle it. I don't know. Let's just leave that one alone.
Read it, but I can't. No, I'm
So
so
weird.
sorry.
I think the problem with that is the concept that he wouldn't know even after sleeping with it that it was male. Obviously, would find out at that point. Anyway, though I am very entertained by him beating the crap out of a chick in front of a CEO. That was funny. Not gonna lie. Ooh, brain is all over the place. Trying to think if there's any other themes I wanted to bring up. Now, again, why is this dangerous? Well, I think if we take a step back and look at sci-fi in general, a lot of the themes I brought up in Stargate are in a lot of different sci-fi shows, from Star Trek to Babylon 5, hardcore. Like I couldn't even get through all of them. Like, man, I wanted to like Babylon 5 because the weird bald dude like me, but was actually a really entertaining and interesting character. Look at her laugh just thinking about it. Really interesting and entertaining character who kept getting more depth as the story went on. I was like, oh, he's cool. But not pleased at all. Basically, the concept would have been to the bad guys were essentially MAGA again. Before MAGA ever came around, it was people, isolationists, people not wanting to meddle with the affairs of the entire galaxy. Like, forget the meddling with the affairs of Iran. How we have to meddle with the affairs of like a galaxy 10 billion miles away.
And there's Firefly.
Oh, Firefly.
Anti-Christian things there.
Oh, yes. That one's
Really
even
big.
more subtle.
Yeah.
Really subtle. The real dangerous part, Firefly deserves its own episode, actually, because on one hand, there's some pro-Christian elements you would think, right? But it's really underhanded and pro-churchian, I would argue, right? Because the preacher man doesn't condemn the prostitute, right? And the prostitute's always in the right, essentially. Yeah, that deserves another episode, and I'll actually be able to get some
That should be something we should do.
next week. Next week we'll do Firefly.
That would be easy. Keep it simple while we got, chaotic stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Lots of stuff going on in our lives, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get the next semester up. It might be late, might even be February before I can start. But if I do end up being late, we'll keep doing these streams, and then we'll just go later into summer for semester 2, if that makes sense. And my commitment would be if I can get 10 episodes, 10 lessons written up properly and edited to my liking, close enough, then we'll start up the next semester because that's enough for me to get everything done before. 10 weeks of content is enough for me to get another 10 weeks up, basically.
I just can't wait till, we're able to tell people
Yeah, soon.
soon.
So yeah, next Monday we'll do Firefly. Firefly is a lot of fun. But Josh Whedon's gamma creepy bullshit just comes out hardcore when you look at it. I appreciate the Southerners in space part, though. The Confederates in space are the good guys. I like that part. That's fun.
Where else do you see that? Nowhere. Oh man. But big butt, little butt, all the butts. Doggo butt. The important part that I want to highlight for everybody is, what do you see in the atheist crowd and even in a lot of young people today that needs to be overcome? You see this push towards Eastern religion and not Christianity more and more and more. Like people are to the point where they won't accept atheism, and they won't be petty or stupid enough to just pretend that atheism is fine, even though they want morality and spirituality, right? But do they go to Christianity? No, they tend to go to a vague Eastern spiritualism. And that's very deliberate. And all of these sci-fi shows led into that. Now, obviously, it was more than just them, but it was a big part of it. Sci-fi is so powerful. People need to understand you cannot give up science fiction to your enemy, because it'll dictate the positivity you expect in the future. It'll dictate what you view as something positive, what the near future should look like, what it won't look like, what you don't want it to look like, right? There's fantasy, like high fantasy, is really important because it's very potent propaganda. We'll get into the books. I think another episode will be about the Aragon books, which are not that good, but are good enough that a lot of teenagers, myself included, when I was desperately trying to find stuff to read and couldn't find stuff, jumped in on them. And actually, they're really powerful when they go bad. Luckily, they're really high fantasy is really hard to write, but when it's written decent enough, it can be a very powerful propaganda tool. We can see the positive version of this in Lord of the Rings, of course, and Chronicles of Narnia and all that. But when you have the negative version, which is usually heavily copied from all the positive versions like Lord of the Rings, and in this case, Star Wars, earthquake. Because the rules, when made properly, are correct in the fantasy world. All right. So, for example, in Aragon, all of the super elves are really smart and intelligent, blah, 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 smarter than all the other races. And they're atheists, and they're very free with sex. Because, of course. The point is very clear that intelligent people are atheists and don't have proper marriages. It's the powerful point of that propaganda is that is true within that world. Does that make sense? That crappy world that was made, it's true in that world. And if it's crafted properly, it feels real enough. And your brain, just like with VR headsets, has trouble distinguishing between fake and real in that situation. So, and especially in the younger mind who's coming up with concepts about life, is going to be far more likely to accept that fantasy concept, right? I needed more time to let that cook in my brain a little bit so it came out a bit better. But you hear what I mean. Basically, because the rules in the fantasy land can work in their fantasy land, Fantasyland makes them more powerful to influence the way people think reality works. They'll apply those concepts to reality. Thus, you have all these people who think atheists are always the smart people, and sexual repression bad. Sexual repression, or like sexual discipline, so you don't die from syphilis. I'm quoting my own stream in my stream. I feel powerful now. That's scary. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. So many things to make episodes on now. I don't know where to start.
Write them down before you forget.
I know. I already said we do Warhammer and Firefly. I don't know which. They both deserve their own episodes, their own lessons. Yes, we'll do Firefly next week. Okay.
It's easier.
You want to rewatch? Every time we try to rewatch it, we don't make it all the way through. What's up? Wait, you're just smiling at me. It's creeping me out.
Somehow I was going cross-eyed between.
I was looking at your teeth, so I didn't
I was
notice.
looking at your nose, and it's like putting my glasses kind of like.
Gosh, flirtation after midnight is weird. My wife is breaking, and so am I. But that's the power of fantasy, right? The rules that do not make sense in real life can make sense in the fantasy world, and thus people will blur the lines in their heads. Now, luckily, this has to be skillfully done, or at least moderately skillfully done. Otherwise, it jumps the shark, essentially, and people just go, eh? Like, yeah, most of the DEI stuff in fantasy video games basically went down that route, and it just went cringe and nasty, and everyone went, eh. You know, what probably helped with the Aragon books that people didn't completely reject it was because the elves were sexy. You know, you could at least tickle the teenage hormone-based mind that way, right? With DEI stuff now, right, they lose all the appeal, so people also notice how ridiculous it is. See, but the power in sci-fi is it has a method of influencing what trying to put this all the words like morality, of course, but like influencing the direction that a civilization should go. What is considered quote unquote progress, right? And the way they do this is essentially everyone technology good, and then they give technology to the things like Buddhist religions and whatnot. Even cultures that have no business the power of what might be. Yes, Felix gets it. And it's more than that, right? In Stargate, notice how every technologically advanced race is a vague Buddhist representation or spiritualistically. Like there was the Native American ones, similar. There was these weird hippie ones too that get killed off pretty fast because they were lame. And they're all
busy and having
and-
a weird mingle.
What are they hinting at? What are they hinting at? Oh, to be good, to be technologically advanced, you have to be and technologically advanced, right? In this weird atheist Buddhist paradigm is the only thing that makes you good in a way. Like not very you say, oh, the ghoul, they're technologically advanced. Not technically they are, but they're leeches. They steal the technology from everybody else and then use it against them. You see it in the show
They're
constantly.
literally snakes.
They-
Deceitful
This is
snakes.
why their technology hasn't changed for centuries. Is essentially they don't innovate, they just steal. And then it's funny, they start innovating in the show because the showrunners obviously needed bigger threats, but because they were copying the humans that they were fighting, basically. Leeching off them, leeching off other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Get the... So... you can create this feeling that the only thing that can be advanced and intelligent
Please.
is a vague evolutionary Buddhist mindset. And that's basically what they pushed. And to be good, you what is it doing behind me? You have to be doing this weird
No.
cat. I have your tail. I dare you to jump. I dare you.
He's gonna go down now.
Yeah. Felix says, Henry Bean Piper stated it elegantly as part of the Lord Calvin on Other One Parallel Universe series. And they push all that, and they give them all the technology, and they're always the ones with the moral superiority over the heroes, especially in Stargate SG1, right?
Oh, they have
Every time they ran into a civilization that was more technologically advanced and they asked for technology in the help in their fight against the Goa'uld, there was always this high-minded, sneering, like morality of "you're not ready for our technology," which always turned into just weird, stupid beam stuff anyway. Like that corrects me up.
Hindu lady in there, in the
Yeah.
symbol thing.
Though I think that was a villain, actually.
Yeah, she's a villain, but also she's like one of the traitor of the whole thing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
God, that's she.
And that was a constant theme. And they were always the vague Hinduish Eastern Buddhist mentality, Enlightenment type mentality, civilizations every single time. Even though most of the time, those civilizations don't tend to stagnate and not grow into high technological fields.
Just look at India and how,
Yeah. It's one
the
of
most
those
technical
funky
advanced
things.
they are is Pajit's on a telemarketer.
What? Damn it, Pajit. And so
Hello, I am with Microsoft.
you can't let your enemies own your science fiction because they own your future. Then they own the minds of your young, ambitious youth who want to create and build something and have a joy for creation and inventing and building stuff. And also for the people who apply morality to that, right? It'll also undercut your morality and make it really illogical, right? If you make morality illogical, which they do in these series because there's no God in it, right? It's atheist by nature. And atheist by nature means there is no morals. So if there are morals and they're somehow not subjective, they're somehow like in stone, then they're illogical by nature. And they're just the God then is just the showrunner writers who've made the morality. Hi, you weirdo. Okay. Man, I'm having fun, but I think I'm going in circles now. Pretty much said most of what I want to say. Kind of want to keep going, but I'm also tired. Another show we should talk about sometime is Supernatural.
I was actually present for a wolf. I get you.
You got the cat caught. Aha! Meow.
Nope.
Instant escape. Where you going?
Hey.
Where you going, pussy? Yeah.
Easy there.
Well, he's a cat. I called him pussy. Hello. Yes. I know she's torturing you. What do you want from me about it? Rosie, do you want up here? Skydog wants to see you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Show your fans you exist. Good doggy. Yes. Oh, he found the sushi. Oh, Rose. Oh my God. Here. You can have this. Oh my gosh. This is suddenly becoming an animal
Gato.
stream.
Gato,
So,
come here.
The different spin-off. Stargate Atlantis. Don't even bother with Stargate Universe. That is just gamma nonsense. Just what are you doing, dog? Want you on my table? Get off. I thought you were trying. Oh my gosh. There goes the sushi. I'm tired.
I ate most of it. And I ate those dumplings.
Oh
Just
man.
eat the tail. It's
Just
shrimp.
eat a tail. He's like, I don't know.
There you go.
Just talking to the cat, if you're wondering. Oh man. So the subtle difference. You know
It's
what?
too soggy for him.
You guys have anything you want to talk about before I shut things off and gotta wrap things up in a bow? Which kind of comes down to we can't give up science fiction as
Gross.
because
Rosie.
that's giving up the dreams of the future generations and letting them be shaped, letting their morality be shaped accordingly. Similar with fantasy, you allow them to create fake worlds, and if they don't match up with creation properly and the wonder that comes in with that, of God's morality, then instead of the Lord of the Rings, you get something that can completely warp a child's mind,
Gato, you want some massage?
and it can, jeez, and it can be a very powerful propaganda piece to break because it's like emotionally tucked in their minds, and it works in the world, right? So it makes them try to apply it to the real world. You're sitting on springs, wife.
Good snail.
Yeah. I guess we're an hour and 32 minutes in.
You know what's funny? That feels so short.
It did feel really short. What have
Exactly.
you guys done to me?
We got used
I used to
to 2.5
die
hours
when I was
stream.
trying to do an hour stream, and now I'm like, oh wow, we're not streaming for 2 hours. That feels weird. What did you guys do? Did you brainwash me?
I think they did.
Weirdos. Someday maybe I will write my Stargate fan fiction and try to overwhelm the original with it. Always wanted to, because there's these sub universes.
Have it ready so by the time that it's in public domain, you could.
When is it
jump
in
on
public domain? It's probably be public domain when I'm old or dead.
Well, get it ready before then.
Calm down, man. I'd like to actually write some stuff that I know for sure can be, I won't get sued for right off the bat. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
This is like side project upon side project down the road. Unless, of course, I wanted to make my own version of certain elements. Like I already have my Star Wars replacement in my head. That's gonna be fun, but it needs to be written. I already talked about how the clone troopers were child soldiers. I want to free the clone troopers. Do it. Can't stop me. Oh man. But I always wanted to
have more time to write your books, though.
Yeah, that's true. I always wanted to make a story in one of the universes where Earth is destroyed by the Goa'uld, but people survive on the Alpha site, right? Every version of Earth that survives creates an Alpha site where they escape to. I'm like, ooh, civilization and secret hiding from the Goa'uld, stealing technology all the time. That sounds special. Sounds like fun. Ghosts in the machine. My brain, I would make it so they're like almost like an urban legend, the Goa'uld. These weird humans that come out of nowhere and murder all of their soldiers and then leave and steal technology. And they have no idea where they're coming from or what's going on. Ninjas. Vague ninja vibes. Is that a tick?
It is. I just pulled it off of her.
It's winter, dog. Where are you finding these? Shouldn't they all be dead?
I don't know.
They're certainly less than the word.
Welcome to Florida.
Rosie has this guilty look on her face.
You saw that, too?
Like, why do you look guilty, dog? You're not, unless you put that tick on yourself. Like, did you roll in a tick pile?
Roll in it? Wait, they won't find it here.
Oh man. Okay. I tell you what, let's not stop the stream while you're still on here.
What?
I'm gonna
Okay.
end the stream with that tick in your hand, which is kind of funny to me.
Well, they don't know. All they see is a whole plane full of fur.
I said it was a tick. They know, woman. They know.
Hey, you guys want to see it?
You guys don't know, but the cat's like right behind the camera, judging me. Like it has this face of like, "What are you doing? And why haven't I been fed yet?"
Why is she playing with bugs?
Anyway, don't give up on the sci-fi. Don't, create better sci-fi for our kids. Don't just show them the old stuff. And when you do show them the old stuff, if you do, make sure you're pointing out these themes. Make sure you point out the nonsense that they're trying to stuff down their throats. You can enjoy it, but make sure they see it so they're not as easily influenced by it. And then,
Okay, the head is there.
anyway, do that.
Just making sure.
And we'll continue with this down the road. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You guys are always awesome to hang out with. Don't push degenerate ideas in SF and train them to look out for. Oh, yeah. Felix says, don't push the degenerate ideas in science fiction and train them to look out for the same. Yes. Family stuff, too. Strong stuff. Lots of babies. Good stuff.
Have more babies. Encourage your kids to have more babies than you ever did.
Indeed.
And then keep the numbers going higher and higher each.
See, wouldn't that also be an interesting alpha site thing? As they all have to have all the feminist stuff has to be, but they have to logically have lots of are gonna die out. Huh? I like it. We would have this whole thing where the smart scientists, right, are up against the soldiers and their families who are trying to say, we actually have to survive this.
So
But where are the smart people?
Well, try surviving this then.
Tick. Anyway, so
I
like, subscribe, share. Grizzly Files will hopefully go up on Wednesday. I'm going to try really hard. I know it's already Tuesday for me. God, it's late.
How late is it?
It's 12:22.
That's late.
Oh, okay. After this, I'm going to make you record an episode with me, wife. I hope
No,
you're ready.
no.
We got energy. We're going to do it. Got to do it.
The hour of early morning and nap. No.
We would have done that anyway. This is when we have time to record. Are you crazy? This is insane.
1 to 3 a.m. is bad mojo.
It's 12:23.
It's bad mojo.
It's not 3 a.m. somewhere. Isn't that how that works?
Bad mojo.
That Muji. You're not a. Anyway.
But I'm not gonna be dumb about it either.
Poopy heads. Anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Keep an eye out for it on the shows you like. And we'll look at Firefly
is
or
3 a.m.
Warhammer next week. I haven't decided. Maybe we'll look at both. All right. Grizzly Files, hopefully Wednesday. We'll, of course, double up Wednesday and Saturday would be the goal. Friday will be another gaming stream as always. Yeah.
This is what happened to
See you again Monday again. Yeah. I feel like I have more, but I don't. So I'll catch you guys later. Grizzly's signing out.
Socializing.
I don't usually. This is fun. Your face is 3 a.m. Shut up, Skydog. This spot is 3 a.m. I'm blinding you. You have no idea. Ugh. Can I do it? What? Of course, the time I want to do it, it won't do it. It won't blur out the screen and burn everyone. All right. See you guys later.
I like it both.
She liked me when I had hair, too. I don't know what to put.
I remember when you had hair.
By the way,
That was
Skydog,
before
I
we-
expect you to harass me more next episode. Turd. All right, I'm out.